uh, uh, allergies are a mofo, ain't they? I'm sorry the last video got cut off. That happens a lot here. There's a lot of women predators that I know, and not all of them are sexual predators. Now, there's women that I know who are, for the most part, sexually motivated. Forgive me, I gotta go blow my nose. Lanny Engeline is one of those people who is sexually motivated. Amanda Engeline, sexually motivated. Jerry Sparks, sexually motivated. Matter of fact, Jerry's ex-stepdaughter Amanda used to make fun of what a slut Miss Jerry was, because really all Miss Jerry cared about was sex. Which, I live with Miss Jerry. I know better. Miss Jerry cares more about her kids than sex, but some days you wonder. And it was Amanda Payne's belief that Jerry's daughter was going to grow up to be just like her mom. Well, here's the thing. Her mom slut shames people. One of the things that she finds the most disturbing or disgusting is slut shaming. I'm not sure how many of y'all realize how often you do that to men, especially men who are not attractive and not good looking. Like they must be predators because they're not good looking. That's not my fault that you think that way. With Rebecca Klang molesting her sister, that's a female on female predatory action that's sexual. But it's not always sexual. A lot of people just want to get a free ride, you know? They want to get whatever they can out of you without having to do much. And sometimes that's a thing where women believe that if they trade sexual favors, then they will get the things that they want, like a roof over their head or gas in their car. And we call that prostitution. I'm actually not against prostitution. I'm against having sex with a prostitute. That's not to say that I wouldn't hire one for a night. Some nights it would be great to have a conversation with somebody who's not, well, schizophrenic or constantly depressed. I did get to stay up one night having a conversation with a prostitute nearly all the night. A friend of mine, at the time anyway, had decided that he was going to hire me a prostitute. And then when he found out I didn't have sex with her, he stopped being friends with me and we haven't spoken since. What's messed up about that is, first of all, I didn't know she was a prostitute or that he had invested money into paying her to have sex with me. That's something he should have asked me about first. Was she predatory because she was after that money? That's a good question. I personally don't feel that it was a predatory situation. Although I was not fully aware of what was going on. If I had known that she was a prostitute, I probably wouldn't have showed up. There's a lot of women that I know that will use and abuse men for money. Not as a, sexual thing where they're like, oh, well, I'll pretend I'll have sex with him and then I'll steal all of his stuff. No, it's more of a, we'll make a mutual agreement. You're going to help this way and I'm going to help this way. But you're going to help first because you have the penis. And then I'm not going to keep my word because I'm not obligated to keep my word because I'm a female. And that happens a lot too. A lot of people that I know who are disabled, it's females within their families who are taking advantage of the situation. Where their family doesn't come and visit them once every 6 to 8 months. But their family is in control of their money and what that money gets spent on and who it gets spent on. And many of these people don't spend it on the person they're supposed to. They spend it on themselves. The system is set up that way too. Just because somebody has different genitalia than you doesn't mean that they're against you, and it also doesn't mean that they're for you. I have heard more women say that women are scandalous than men. I've had more women tell me that they will not be friends with women because women are scandalous than men. But are women scandalous, or is it a specific type of mindset that is scandalous? Is it all women in America taking part in doing this screwed up thing? No. Just like it's not all men taking part in these screwed up things, and it's not all whites taking part in these screwed up things. I got a message that I read this morning from somebody, something Gillespie, I believe, claiming that all of his predators were women, and I can believe that. In my case, I had some predators that were women and some that were men. I didn't have any sexual predators that were women. None. Although many of the things that women have done to me over the years can be considered sexually predatory, because if a man were to do that and a woman felt uncomfortable the way that I was, that man could get in trouble. He's not getting in trouble for doing anything wrong. He's getting in trouble for her having a feeling. Ah, well, that's great. If you have a feeling every time you see an ugly dude like that, I want you to do yourself a favor and not go out in fucking public. If you are only interested in dudes who look like Tyson Beckford, models type colors, if you're only interested in those guys looking at you, and anybody else who looks at you must be a demon or must be chastised or must be after your vagina, keep in mind there is a reason that you are specifically throwing yourself out there for the good looking ones. Those are the ones that you want. When they're not good enough, you do a bunch of fucking psycho shit. The most psycho shit I have seen my entire life came out of women that I knew. And a lot of it not towards me, towards other men. My mom is one of the worst predators that I've ever met. She's also a sexual predator. If she's going to be having sex while she's married and kicking my stepdad out of the house because his character on a video game married a character on a video game, and his character was male, the other character was female, that shouldn't be a big thing, should it? But then again, the person who owns the other character is actually a male. So my mom didn't kick him out for cheating. She kicked him out for being a homosexual. Yeah, this is my mother, guys. This is my mother. This is the same person who says she is not racist but hates all Mexicans. I'm like, Mom, we grew up with Mexicans. I know plenty of Mexicans that never did any of us wrong. Why do you hate Mexicans? Hey, Sean, I'm sorry to say I didn't know of what you have been doing and going through before Rob's video, but I do now, and I just want to say keep fighting the good fight. Brother, you're a really cool guy. I'm not that cool a guy. By the way, just because of your name there, when I was in high school, we had a teacher named Mr. Einram, and he was our history teacher. But we got to watch the Star Wars trilogy, the first 3 movies. But we had to do a report on it afterwards. We had to write basically a review of it, but we had to include who our favorite hero was and why. My favorite hero was Darth Vader. Missed that fly. I'm getting slow in my old age. But not all predators are after sex. That's another thing that y'all just keep not having in your head. Like the situation with Lana up there. Yes, that was primarily about sex. She thought that sex was going to fix the situation. And although she doesn't really find me that physically attractive, and I definitely don't find her physically or mentally attractive, when it didn't happen, she felt rejected. and she wasn't very nice about it. But also, and this isn't just my belief, Laura Nelson has stated this to me on many occasions in the last year and 3/4, well, 2 years now. She says, you know, it's about this. When I was going up to South Dakota, I didn't have a lot of talking time with Lana and Amanda. It was mostly just texting. I didn't have the time to explain to them the train. I didn't have time to explain to them everything that was going on, and they definitely did obviously have the impression that there was going to be money coming while I was there, that there was going to be more income than they already had between the two of them. But one of the ladies that I was talking with was some internet wingnut who wasn't even the person she was claiming to be, and she didn't tell me that. I had to find out from others later on. A lot of the women who have been predatory towards me since Natalie's death, it's because they're wanting to play head game and drama with somebody who's been traumatized by this situation. I mean, the situation with Erin Cockerham, where she just empty promise after empty promise, but never kept her word. Same thing with Cara Mia, aka Cara Rogers. Same thing with Alyssa Rainwater. The same thing with Mandy Hughes. The same thing with a lot of these different women that didn't come through but promised to. Does that make them predators? Does that mean they are predatory? In some of those situations, yes. And in some of them, people were just overwhelmed by their own family situations and by their own monetary situations. And that's all stuff that if you look at my court paperwork and then you listen to these conversations between myself and the witnesses that should have been there, you realize that those cops knew exactly what they were doing, including female officers like Officer Amanda Jonas. Knew exactly what she was doing. She knew what she was doing was against the law, and she abused her power to do so. Just like that friend of Miss Jerry's who was having sex with Miss Jerry's son. Meanwhile, we got men who shame women for enjoying sex, women who shame men for enjoying sex. And then there's people who aren't even interested in sex, and you want to go, oh, well, all you want to do is fuck. All you want is one thing. I'm like, you know what? The dude that you're with wants that one thing. You're with him. Go be with him and leave me the fuck alone. We got a lot of women in power. And although a lot of people throughout my lifetime have said, hey, you know what? We should have women in power instead of men. Fuck no. Fuck no. Oh, hell no. I am not going to be fucking bossed around by some fucking wannabe loser POS who thinks that they're a princess. This is the United States. We got rid of the monarchy for a reason. If you look throughout history, women and men are just as screwed up. No, I don't agree with just men being in power, but I absolutely don't agree with just women being in power either. Historically, women have done just as screwed up stuff as men. There are women who in their day did worse things than Adolf Hitler did, but Adolf Hitler got larger numbers of people harmed in that way because there was a larger population and also a larger ability to travel. I mean, there's a big difference between walking 120 miles and hopping an airplane there. Yeah, there's a lot of people who have a lot of crazy ideas that are based on, oh, well, you know, here's how it is now, and here's how I'd like it to be. So here's a simple solution. When really, you got a bunch of historians who go through and do this anthropology crap to learn about why it is that people have done these things historically And you know what we have all come up with? Human nature. We are doing the exact same things that we did thousands of years ago. But you know what's even worse? Those are animalistic behaviors because we are animals. We are mammals in specific. Our wants, needs, and desires are animalistic. Our want to eat and to propagate the genetic line that we carry, our genetic burden. Yeah, it's not just human nature, it's nature wants to reproduce. Nature wants to live for another year. It's not just you. Humans aren't the only creatures on the planet. Now, with a lot of these female predators, they don't see themselves as predators. Many of them, when they do something wrong, will immediately jump to the victim thing. Oh, I did something wrong. I need to pretend I'm the victim. People will take my side because I'm the woman. And a lot of women that I've spoken with who have been through this have also admitted to taking part in doing exactly that. Like, yeah, you know, when I was younger, I wasn't as nice of a person as I am now. Yeah, but look at the fact that you screwed up a person's entire life. Now that you're 68 years old and telling me, hey, you know, Sean, I was pretty bad when I was younger. Yeah, when you were younger. But did you ever repent? Did you ever make amends for what you did? Did you ever tell that man you were sorry? Did you ever go to the people who harmed him because of what you said and tell them that you were wrong and that what you did was wrong? You ever do that? I mean, you go back to the very beginning of all this, you can see I admit that I screwed up way before Natalie was killed. I admitted that I screwed up in a lot of situations where I did what? Where I screwed up. I admitted that I screwed up specifically because I screwed up. And that's something that we specifically teach women they're not even supposed to do. A lot of the women that I know, they tell their daughters, hey, if you ever get married, you want to marry a man, you don't want to marry a man who's smarter than you because you want to be able to win the argument. Like, really? This is also coming from the same people in the situations where the daughter gets punched on the playground and the parent says, well, he only did that because he likes you. Now you're training your daughter to be a victim. Now you are training your daughter to seek out people for companionship who are going to abuse her. That is fucking nuttier than squirrel turds, and people call me crazy.